Live from Austin, Texas, you're listening to the Next 15 Podcast Show with Trey North, a live podcast covering random topics such as relationships, current news, and everyday life issues, along with my co-hosts, Chris McAllister and Andrea Clark. Get ready for the next few minutes as we hope to make you laugh, educate, and inspire you. Welcome to the Next 15 Podcast Show. It's Friday night, 7 o'clock, and you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Next 15 Podcast. This is Trey North, for those that don't know, and I have my co-host, Andrea Clark.
Hey, everybody. I can't see your face, so just hit me up in the place.
All right, guys. So guess what? We're -1. We're minus Chris McAllister. He has some other obligations to fill. So it's just a randomish night, one-on-one with none other than the beautiful Andrea Clark. And we want to say hello to those in the live chat room right now. We see you, Shamika, and all of you guys who are on the way to the chat room. Those over there at next15podcast.com. We want to say hello and welcome to the Next 15 Podcast Show. If this is your first time listening, sit back and we hope that you enjoy the ride as we educate, inspire, and maybe get a couple of chuckles.
Yes.
And also our downloaders, you might have not heard it live, but you downloaded it and you're listening to it right now. Thank you so much for taking out your time to listen to the Next 15. Just want to give a shout out for last week's episode, The Investment. Really good episode. What do you think about that, Andrea?
Yes, it really was really good.
Yeah, I think it was one of our best episodes. If you haven't heard it, it's now available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Or you can go to next15podcast.com and listen to that episode as well as our other episodes that we have. There's something for everyone, no matter what you're going through or if you just want to laugh. We got a lot of nice material.
Yes, we do.
Well, tonight, guys, it's a randomish night. Again, it just was me and my co-host, Andrea, for the first time, actually, Andrea.
It is.
This is an episode where any and everything goes and it's interactive, which means you can participate live in the chat room, or you can go to Spreaker, or better yet, participate in the chat room at Spreaker. That's SPREAKER.com. Search the Next 15 and you'll be able to join our intellectual listeners and engage in the conversation. Also, you can call in and drop us a topic to discuss, and you can do that by dialing 512-827-9164. Welcome to the Next 15 Podcast with Trey North, Andrea Clark. It's a randomish one-on-one, and guess what, guys? It all starts now. You're listening to the Next 15 Podcast Show with Trey North on Spreaker.com. Oh, well, Andrea, me and you tonight.
Yes.
I hope we can make it without tearing up these microphones and fighting.
We gotta make it. I'm not bad like that.
I didn't say you were bad. You know how we go back and forth with this banter.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's a randomish night. Man, we really don't know what we're going to be talking about. We normally just throw topics that we write down and we pass them back and forth. But guys, if you want to drop us a topic, feel free. The lines are already open at 512-827-9164. And you can drop a topic and you can even chat with us when you call in. Well, Andrea, you want to go first tonight, or you want me to hit it up first, or what?
No, you can go first.
But you're the lady of the house.
I'm the lady of the house.
Tonight you are.
Okay.
Or the lady in the house.
All right. Well, I'll go first.
Okay.
Then. Okay, so this been a question that I have been just wondering about. What is considered an actual date night? Can you help me out with that?
What's an actual date night? What's considered a date night?
Yes.
I mean, you mean like male and female, like going out, like what is considered or what consists?
What is considered?
I mean, I think a date night is two individuals going out and having a good time and doing whatever. I don't have any specifics when it comes to what the date night entails, unless it's something that it's planned by the male or the female. But I think a date night is a free for all, kind of like tonight with Randomish. It's like, hey, just going out and have a good time.
Okay, so if you was referring to a relationship, what'd be considered as date night?
Again, I think it's whatever the two comes up with. I mean, it depends on, I guess, if it's planned. I mean, if it's something that's just straight off the cuff, then I would say that whatever happens is considered a date night. I mean, for me, I mean, if I was going to take somebody out, it's whatever. I mean, it sounds like you're trying to get specific. Or
okay, so you're saying that any like anything that's pre-planned is considered a date night. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say. I said pre-planned or off the cuff. Okay. Why does it? I mean, spontaneous. Why does it have to be pre-planned to be considered a date night?
I think because for me, because it's a difference when it's a date night and it's a different when you're just hanging out. So that's why I just asked, what is the actual difference?
I say there's no difference. I mean, it just depends. I mean, why would it be called anything less? I mean, why is it just a hangout because you decide to do something spontaneous? I mean, you could be like, you know, in a relationship wise, you could be like, hey, let's just go out and let's go out. Oh, what are you gonna do? I don't know. Let's just find something to do. Does that mean it's hanging out? I mean, I say hanging out is with friends. Dating is with somebody you're in a relationship.
Okay, so that's your term.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what are you trying to say? I mean, I don't get it.
I don't know. It was just a conversation I had with one of my best friends. And so, you know, a girl's terminology is always different from a male's. Because
you guys always putting your emotions in there. I mean, I feel like a date is when, and I don't really equate a date as far as when you, just because you go out with somebody, you know. I mean, I don't really think there's, I mean, if you call it a date, then I would say it's the title date, not what you do, but the title date. That's just my opinion, because I feel like if you're interested in somebody, two individuals are interested in somebody, then of course, if they're going out, they're on a date. But if you're talking about two platonic friends that are just friendship, there's just friendship involved, then yeah, it is hanging out, because it's not like a date. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. What you guys think out there? I don't know. Ask the chat room. What's going on in the chat room? Anybody talking, or they just listening tonight?
They just listen. Shamika, we need you to answer this for me.
Call out Shamika. Like, really? Wow. I mean, you know, hey, guys or ladies, I mean, if you're out there, the number is 512-827-9164. I see there was a little mistypo in there, but it's 9164. But yeah, I think it's what constitute, I mean, I don't think it matters what you do. I mean, of course, being a gentleman like me, if I was going to go on a date and it was something that I thought about doing, and I'm asking a young lady to go out on a date, then it's, of course, I'm going to pre-plan something. But I mean, it's to me, the question you asking is, what's the difference between a date and just hanging out, rather than what do you consider, you know, as far as that. But I don't know.
Okay, so Shamika in the chat room said, I mean, a date could be anything you decide to do, but yeah, a date night will be with a couple who are dating.
See, that's what I say.
Yeah,
I say that's what it is. I mean, because I mean, if Pastor Chris, I'll be like, hey man, you know, let's go hit up, you know, let's go get something to eat. Are we on a date? Absolutely not.
Hey, Pastor Chris, you want a date night? That don't sound right.
I know, it doesn't sound right. I mean, if it's friends, like, yeah, I'm like Shamika, I see where she says if you're friends, then it would just be like hanging out. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about it, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I got since we're talking about like dating and relationships, what about, and this can be from a his and her perspective, and it will be, because my question is, what makes a woman secure in a relationship?
What makes a woman secure in a relationship?
Like from your view, your point of view, when you're in a relationship or if you're in a relationship with someone, like what makes you secure or what makes you feel comfortable being with that person and knowing that, you know, you're good. You're good in the relationship.
I think for me, it's more stability. It's more honesty. If you don't have those two things, then you really don't have too much or anything. So those two things are a must for me.
Okay. So you saying stability as in like financial stability, or what do you mean? Like,
yeah, so if I've been, like for me, I've been on my job for 8 years. So I'm going to need somebody who's been on their job, you know, long term and not just, you know, I'm here, I've been working here for a couple of weeks and then you quit another week, you know, you just job hopping. So that's not a form of stability.
You want a man with a job.
Yes, I need a man in a uniform.
That's in a uniform.
Yes, in a uniform.
Every job doesn't have a uniform. Hello.
Sure. He need, long as he clocking in.
Oh, okay. I get that part right there.
Okay, so Shamika in the chat room says, when a man lives above reapproach, he makes sure to communicate at all times, and yes, he provides stability.
Reproach. I like the word reproach. Yeah, I think so. And to me, that's called predictability. Because a lot of relationships, I think could be or should be grounded in that word reproach, but also which basically is predictability. And what I mean by predictability from a man's perspective is that the way you normally move, how you've been moving since we've been talking, is how you continue to move. So anything that you outside of, move out of that. You know, if your routine every day is you get up, you clock in at 8 and clock out at 5, and you at home by 5:30, you know, and you've been doing that on the consistency. When I say predictability, that's where I'm coming from. But when you're doing that consistently, you know, then that's habitual. So, you know, so anytime you outside of that scope, now I'm not saying that just clocking in, like saying got to be here exactly at 5:30, but at least around or somewhere in the neighborhood. Like if that's how you've been moving, you know, since day one, you know, and then it's starting to be something else like 6, 7, or 8, you know, and you ain't called or I called you to check on you, then my antennas will, you know, go up. You know what I mean? So I think that, you know, that it's to make somebody feel comfortable, you want that level of predictability, because then you can depend on, because I think with predictability comes dependability, where you can at least count on that person to do the same thing
all the time.
Now that doesn't mean that things that don't come up and situations don't arise that kind of offsets that situation. Right. But at least there's communication. There has to be some level some kind of level of communication that takes place when it comes to, you know, being secure and being trustworthy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta have that.
Yeah.
So what does she tell you? I was in traffic.
I mean, that happens. Traffic happens. I mean, especially if you're living in a city like Austin. Like, and in the city of Austin, I mean, those that live in big cities, Austin, Dallas, Houston, some of our listeners out there.
Right.
And thank you for listening. You know, if there's traffic can happen at any given time. An accident can happen at any given time.
But I get what you're saying. If she changes her routine, then that would raise your antennas up.
And but it would have to be. It would have to, the whole dynamic. I mean, if it's one or a couple of times or something like that, then that's different to me. I see Shamika saying that that he will know what it takes to make his woman feel secure because he takes the time to communicate with her and find out what works for her. And I agree with that. You know, yes. Me personally, I'm not the jealous type, so I don't trip, you know, if things that are normally in order kind of fall out of order a little bit, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, those warning signs that go up when all of a sudden, you know, you're not, you know, I'm calling you just to check on you, you know, like for me, I'll give you an example. For me, if I'm gonna be late and I'm not normally late, then I'm probably gonna phone in. I'm gonna check in. Not necessarily that I have to. Mm-hmm. Let's be real about that. But at least I'm gonna check in and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make a run by the store, or pick up something. Do you need something? And then you're gonna know where I'm at. You know what I mean?
That's respect.
Yeah. And that's where I think that's where also that when it comes to securing a relationship, that you respect each other, you respect that partner.
You do.
You respect them. You don't just you don't do anything. You try to do everything, like Shamika was saying, a reproach. And what that means is, you try to make sure you cover yourself and you're covering each other.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah. Let me ask you a question. Like have you ever been in an insecure relationship? And how did you handle that?
I have been in an insecure relationship. When a person has been in I'm going to say toxic relationship, and it seemed like it'd be a domino effect because of what one person has done. It doesn't mean that another person is going to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So with me, I had to, every time I leave the house, I had to let them know, hey, I'm at home. Wherever I went, I had to constantly have my phone either to my head. He had to be on the phone. It was constant communication because I had to rebuild the trust with him because of his past relationship.
You mean in other words, he had to rebuild the trust with you?
Yes.
He was the one that stepped out, or
he was the one. Well, yeah, somebody stepped out on him.
So he brought that baggage over.
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting. I tell you what, let's take a quick commercial break, and we come back. Let's finish up on that. That's something that we definitely can get in and talk about. Y'all keep it locked right here on the Next 15. Attention business owners, entrepreneurs, podcast hosts, or even churches. Do you have a product or service that you'd like to advertise to help spread the word and boost sales for your business or organization? Then allow Next 15 Podcast Production to produce your next advertisement with a professional voiceover. We have over 20 years of experience in creating voiceovers for churches, city government departments, and online businesses. Next 15 Podcast Production will assist you with your next project using our professional studio equipment along with our experience. Let us create your next voiceover that will take your business or organization to the next level. Go to next15podcast.com and click on Voiceover Work tab to preview the actual voiceover commercials that were created for our business affiliates. You can also contact us at next15podcast@gmail.com. Next 15 Podcast Production, where voiceovers and businesses simply go together. You're listening to the Next 15 Podcast Show with Trey North on Spreaker.com. And we're back to the Next 15 Podcast Show with Trey North right here with co-host Andrea Clark. And we were talking about on this randomish night about trust and baggage, trust issues and baggage carried over. Mm-hmm. We were previously talking about what makes a woman secure in a relationship, and Andrea gave her thoughts and comments, and I gave mine, and then we kind of not rabbit trail it, but we kind of just broke it off and be like, okay, have you ever been in that situation? So you want to go ahead and continue and follow up with that about what happened to you in that situation?
Okay, so like I was saying before we went on a commercial break, most women tend to be in the relationship to where they have to rebuild the trust. But for me, it was on the other foot. With this particular person, I thought it was from me being in a abusive relationship and not being able to trust this person, but it was from his past. And I thought by me just having to call when I get to point A or point B. I thought it was just like a form of controlment.
So he wanted that.
He wanted that.
Was it because he? I'm trying to understand. Was it because he was cheated on previously in a relationship?
So,
or was it something that you done in the relationship?
No, his words was, whenever I leave the house, just in case something happened to me, from the time I leave from the house to the time I get to work, he would know. If I don't make it there, he know my path.
So why do you think he was like that?
I don't know. That's the way he worded.
That sounds sketchy to me.
So he worded that way. So I was like, okay. So if you know I go this one way to work, and if I don't call you and tell you, yeah, I made it to work, or I didn't make it to work, then that was his way of knowing, hey, I know the way that she was traveling to work and she didn't make it to work. Then he will have a way to look for me. That's how he put it.
I mean, I can understand the concern. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you had to do that all the time and check in all the time, then I would personally, I would feel like that's me trying to control you.
That's how
you know what I mean. And I do understand why you would feel that way. I think you can be concerned without being controlling or having those tendencies of, trying to clock every move. Like, man, I don't, because I personally, I don't roll that way. Me, I get it, but like we talked about the traffic thing. I mean, it would. Yeah. See, that's common here in Austin.
It is.
So it wouldn't be like my antennas would go up. Now, when it comes to trust issues, like, hey, you got off at 5:30. It's 7:00, and I'm calling you, and you ain't answering the phone.
Right.
But you ain't come back with no accident. You come back, and most people get defensive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can kind of sit back and watch people's behavior.
And their responses.
Their responses. But I mean, I get it. I get it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So, with that being said, that we just finished talking about. So, if trust is broken, can it be rebuilt?
I mean, I think it can. I think it depends on both individuals. First, the individual that, first of all, that violated that person, but then it has to go to that person that was violated. Are they willing to rebuild what was broken, or are willing to take the time to rebuild it? You know what I mean? Or or decided if it's worth it or not is what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes, sometimes it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean,
right.
And I think what it takes is, first of all, is now when you put it like that, that person, you might need to start checking in. I think in a man's situation, I can only speak from a man's point of view. If I violated a woman's trust and she decides to take me back, then I'm probably going to do those things that that he was doing to you. Yeah, hey baby, I'm here. Just letting you know, just every little thing. But not only that, but just by the way that I treat her. You know what I mean? Not just doing that. I think, of course, for it to work, then it has to be something given and returned. If I'm proving myself, then you just can't throw that over my head every time you get into an argument. Well, the last time okay, that was like last year. I didn't, I messed up and you agreed to take me back. You can't be carrying that baggage, that unforgiveness in your heart, because that's what a lot of times that's what happens in a relationship. People harbor feelings and they don't truly let it go, or they truly don't forgive that person, so it just takes a lot of work when trust is compromised, when because people good people put their hearts on the line.
That is,
what I'm saying? They put everything in, and then they don't get back in return. Kind of like we was talking about their investment last week. People they invest in a relationship,
right?
And they're not even getting a return. And to me, it's not tit for tat. But I mean, what the return is? Hey, I noticed you care for me, and you've been faithful. Why can't I just give you the same thing back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I think it's more dependent on the situation in order for me to be able to rebuild the trust. Like the cheating, I can accept it. I can forgive you, but it's gonna take some time for me to actually say, okay, well, I forgive you and I work it out, because I have done it, forgave my kid's father. And the only reason why I did that was like, okay, you're the father of my kids, but then if they keep on doing it again and doing it again, and then it make you look like you're the dummy,
Yeah, I don't think anybody want to play the fool. Shamika says it takes a lot of work to rebuild trust once it's broken. Both individuals have to be willing to put the work in. You may have to implement, or you may have to implement new techniques to build that trust back up.
And that is so true.
Yeah, I think it also is everybody's level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Everybody's tolerance level is different. So where, like for you, like in most women, let's just be real, it's easier for them, they have been forgiving men, for ages when they get caught cheating or whatever.
Right.
But as soon as a man finds a woman cheating, he's like done. It just breaks him down. And it is it is a double standard, but I mean,
that's so true though.
I mean, I think when it comes to rebuilding trust, it really first depends on that individual if they can handle it. And I think that when people get hurt, I wouldn't be so quick to just say, we're going to make this work. I think sometimes you might have to get to a place on your own, and for me, it would require like prayer time and me, making sure that I can continue with the relationship. You know what I mean? Because it is going to take a lot of work, like Shamika was saying. And so I have to make sure that I'm willing to invest my heart back into that situation. Right. So if you do me wrong, me personally, I'm that guy. If you do me wrong, I put my heart in it, and you do me wrong, I'm going to be hurt. Now, I'm not going to say I won't forgive you, because I'm 99.9999, no, 100, because I am a Christian man. I'm going to forgive you. Yeah. But as far as me jumping back in something with you, it might take me some time, some me time to see first how I heal and how that's going to affect me, and if I'm willing to reinvest in you. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of people don't do that. And I know a lot of women tend to say, okay, I forgive you, let's work it out, but then gonna bring it up. Yeah. Just like the comedy show I was just looking at. A lot of women do hold that over your head.
Yeah, and it makes it harder for the other person. Now, listen, when I say harder for the other person, a sincere person. You know what I mean? You know, and I think, you have to follow your heart. That's the hardest part for me, is that, I don't know, man. If you cheat on me, that's kind of rough. That man, I got to really love you. Like, I mean, I gotta be like, I don't know if I can forgive you, but I don't know if I could trust you. Like, once you break trust with me, it take a while. And then if one thing I don't like is a liar. I cannot stand a liar. If you lie to me, that's just like cheating on me, because I can't believe anything that you say. But again, if I decide to choose to take you back, then I have a role to play as well. You know what I mean? I have to do my part, because if I'm agreeing to something, then it's, it can't just be my way or the highway. I have to allow you an opportunity to see the errors, the flaws that you have and the error that you have made, and have to give you time to correct and make good on it. And I can't use that over your head every time you make me mad or piss me off. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people do.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So Shamika in the chat room said, yeah, for some people that's an automatically deal breaker. It's such a double standard, because men are expected to cheat and women are expected to take them back and forgive them. That is, that's right.
Yeah, and I hate that she used that word, but I understand where she's coming from. Shamika, I understand where you're coming from. Expect, that word expect. You know what I mean? Like, men are expected to cheat. I hate that. And then women are expected to take them back. And I think that comes from because men cheat and women take them back.
That is, and that's common.
Yeah, I think that's why the common part of it. Yeah. Hey, 512-827-9164. If you want to drop us a topic, we'll love to discuss it with you. I don't know.
Okay, so hold on one second. So Shamika
Okay.
also said, I never understood cheating. There are too many choices in the world. So if you don't want me, then give me a choice and let me go, and you can find someone else you desire to be with. And I agree. I feel the same
Yeah.
way. And that's another thing I never understood neither. Why do men cheat?
Man, we did an episode on that. Thank you for plugging that, because we have Why Do Men Cheat and Why Do Women Cheat. You go back season 2. Great episodes. I mean, and it seems to be one of the most popular episodes too. You can catch that. Go to next15podcast.com or right here on Spreaker. Thank you for the plug.
Yes, you're welcome.
No, y'all quiet tonight. I only see Shamika. I don't see our regulars in here. They must be. Oh, it is Easter
yeah.
weekend. They might be out of
Good
town.
Friday today.
Yeah, that's all right. They catch the download. I like that. Listen, I got a. Was it me or on you? It was. No, that was on. It's on me.
Yeah, it's on you.
I got a question. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Since Shamika's the only one right here typing, we gonna Shamika, you might as well just call in. Let's see.
Right.
But if a woman cheats, men can find it difficult. Yep, that's right. To forgive, the men can't take the hurt they give us. That's true, because we picture you, and it's it's a double. Here we go again with a double standard. You
It
know, I
is.
can't believe she did that to me, and I think it's a little bit I think a little bit of it is self gratification, or that's not what I want to say. Is the ego of a man.
It is.
I think that's what it is. When a woman step out, you know, it cuts him, because he thought he was all this and that, and women are more in their feelings. You know, they tend to work off emotions, and we think sometimes we're not the right one. You know what I mean? So,
And then you be with your homeboy and you be like, bro, that's the dude that she cheated me with. You know, cheated on me with.
it hurts.
Then y'all gonna be talking about him.
Yeah, it
Us
hurts.
females do the same thing.
Okay, I'm finna switch this up though. I gotta get off of that one. I want to switch it up. Okay, check it out. Okay. This is a question. I wish my co-host was on here. But that's okay. Pastors versus regular people. Now, this is where I'm getting at. Should pastors be held or looked at differently when they make some of the same mistakes that, and I hate to use common folk, because pastors are people and common people, but I'm just saying the label pastor, should they be held to the same standard as somebody that's not a pastor?
To me, pastors are the same individuals as, I'm just gonna say me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only thing different from me and a pastor is a title. So I don't see no difference. I don't see nothing wrong
Really?
with that. Yeah.
I think some people would disagree with that. I think some people would think that a pastor should be held to a higher standard
Because they're in leadership role.
because they're in a leadership role. Yeah, when you know better, you do better, and that's not saying that regular or people that I don't want to use that word, regular folk, common folk, people that are not with that title don't know better. I think that we should, as a pastor, I should be held to a higher standard, but at the same time, I think that I don't like people putting me on a pedestal simply because I am human, just like those that don't have that title, and I am subject to make a mistake. Now, I get it. I'm held to a higher standard, and I'm not supposed to. I'm in that leadership position, like you so eloquently put it, but I'm still human at the end of the day. I still bleed just like you do. I still cry like you do.
Right.
I still face some of the same challenges as any other person would that doesn't have the position. I just think that I should lead by an example.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So, but a lot of people do place people in leadership roles, especially pastors, and they try to hold them to a higher standard. Now that brings me back to, and I know we talked about it briefly on another episode when like Kirk Franklin, had cussed out his son. I mean, but I feel like even the Christians kind of was like, okay, and you know what I mean? Because there's certain situations where, like that situation where your kids take you there, man. I mean, and before you know it, you went from 0 to 100 in less than 3 seconds. You already there. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, we should be held to a higher standard, but not judged when we do mess up because we have to we go before God just like anybody else does. Anybody without the title, we still have to go to God and we still have to do the same thing you would do, repent.
Exactly.
And of course it could be shameful, when somebody, but it only gets that way if you put yourself on that pedestal, so, as like I won't tell people when they first meet me, and the only way you're going to know now is that you listen to this podcast.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. I won't tell you that because first of all, I'm trying to see how you move and how you act, because people tend to act a little different, and I want to be myself. I do. Yes. I want to be myself around people, and that's why my circle is so small because I don't want to be judged. Not that I'm out here just doing something, but as a pastor, I want to be able to be myself. I mean, I'm human too. I want to breathe. I want to laugh. Of course, my conversations might be a little slightly, or not slightly, but maybe different from those. But at the end of the day, man, I face the same experiences that a lot of people do. I've had trouble with my kids. I've had trouble on the job. I've had problems with my finances. My heart's been broken. I've been angry and cuss and have cussed somebody out.
Yeah, the same thing everybody else has faced.
Yeah. What's going on in the chat room?
Okay, so Shamika said, no, they shouldn't. We tend to place them on a pedestal when we have to realize they are human as well. Yes, they are respected as a leader, but they still are human. And yes, they should have integrity, but we all should really grace and mercy is all of us.
Oh man, that's good. I like that. Grace and mercy is for all of us. Thank you for saying that, Shamika, because that's true. That the same God that forgive the ones that are not in leadership roles or pastors, he forgives y'all, those that are not, and he forgives pastors. I mean, we all, come on, let's be 100. We live in a time where, and we've all witnessed that people, especially pastors that are in the celebrity limelight, if you want to call it that, have done some things and and had to repent and go back. And then there's some that never recovered, but then there's some that got it right. You know what I mean?
That is true.
I mean, sin is sin, no matter where it comes from.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so, I think it doesn't make you less of a person when you make a mistake. I think integrity is doing the right thing, of course, when nobody's looking. Of course, we've all have compromised our integrity, but I think integrity also comes with being able to own your own mistakes and then get back up and then you learn from that and don't make it again. Exactly. You're not going to repeat the same thing over and over and over. We don't want to pimp God, on forgiveness, So, and then a lot of times, man, people, we just deal with a lot of stuff. I mean, the same thing everybody else going through. I was talking to someone earlier this week, and I didn't know they were going through some certain situations with their children, and it hit me because I've gone through some things with mine. You know what I'm saying? And they're going through almost the exact same thing that I was going through, and I was like, wow, and I never knew it. I would have never known unless that person shared that information with me. And then they probably was like, wow, I didn't even know, Pastor T, you're going through the same thing. Yes, this is real life. It doesn't, just because, you have a leadership role or a title, pastor, doesn't mean that I'm walking around here impenetrable. I mean, I get attacked just like anybody else does. The enemy comes in just like anybody else does. And so we just have to be mindful, and we have to be prayerful about, decisions that or making the wise choices and the decisions that we need to do, so that we don't, as pastors, lose our credible witnesses. Because that is the excuse that I find, Andrea, that a lot of people, and I don't mean to just be going off into a tangent, but I find a lot of people use that excuse not to come to the house of the Lord, or not to come to the Lord. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's why it's very important that we as pastors do lead by example, because we don't want to lead people down the wrong path or lead them astray to the point where they say, well, why should I come to church? Because that pastor's doing the same thing I'm doing.
Exactly.
So what's the difference? I might as well just not even come in the church doors. You know what I mean?
And a lot of people do think that if some people see that pastor out, I'm just gonna say drinking with them at a get together, it's gonna have a friend of theirs look at that pastor different. So that's so true.
I mean, it is a selfless and it's a sacrifice when you are in a leadership role like that. That you choose not to do certain things, around certain people. And I don't want to say it like, being sneaky, but you know what I mean? Like, there's conversations, and I don't mean just like bad or inappropriate conversations that me and Pastor Chris talk that I might say, or how I say it. I probably wouldn't say that around other people, but that's my friend, so he understands, sometimes I just don't have, other than my circle, I don't have anybody that I can just get real with, if you want to say it like that. Like I just can't, some things are how I want to say it. I have to be politically correct on this microphone. But sometimes when I get mad, I might want to say something else. Not necessarily curse, but I might. I don't know. Sometimes it do slip. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm flawed. But I mean, I might want to be like, ooh, so-and-so, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then when I say, I gotta love them. I gotta put on my smile, and I'd be like, how you doing? And you gotta forgive them, and you gotta let it go. But then when it comes to venting, like Pastor Chris and my other two friends, Myron and Dwayne, those are the ones that I will vent to. You know what I mean? But I can't do that with everybody, because everybody will be like, oh, the pastor, man. Oh, he, like, you get mad.
Yeah.
Somebody mess up your food, you ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so Shamika in the chat room says sometimes ministers don't even have someone to talk to about their issues, because they are always given of themselves and have no way to be refilled.
That's true.
And then she also said they are afraid of being judged. Yes, they use the excuse of church hurt, and then they make excuses, and they say their sin is excused because of what the pastor or minister is doing. Oh,
okay. I was about to say, what? But she's referring to when they see somebody when they see the pastor doing what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, but
exactly.
Isn't that the trickery and the greatest deception of the enemy, the devil? How he would, how he puts things like that. He tries to make it seem like, hey, I mean, anything to keep you away. You know what I mean? Anything to keep you away from being closer to God. That's what the enemy's going to use, and he'll use the pastor that's, struggling with something. Everybody has their own poison or demons that they deal with, and their own struggles in life. But I mean, we just have to be prayerful, and we have to be very cognizant of what we're doing, and very conscious about what we do what we do and how we represent God. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, what else you got over here? You got anything else on the randomish night? You can't think of nothing else? Okay. We can wrap it up early. Shoot, look like Shamika. Shamika, you know what? I appreciate you for being the only one in here tonight. I guess everybody did sky up on us. I forgot it was Easter weekend.
Yes.
But I still enjoyed this night of randomish. I really did. Thank you so much for those that are listening, maybe not just chatting, but you could just be in here listening. I'm not finna go yet. Not just yet. I just want to say, this COVID shot, that's another random topic. I'm thinking about getting it. Have you are thinking about getting it or have gotten it?
Oh gosh, yes, I have gotten the shot.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Okay.
And does it hurt? Yes, my arm is swollen. I woke up this morning. Well, when I got the shot yesterday, because I went to the nail shop and I got my nails done. So I was in the process of getting my nails done. They called me and said they had an appointment for me. So it's like, okay, I'll take the one at 3:00. So I got there. It wasn't no line or anything. So walked in there, did my paperwork, got my shot. So when I left, well, you have to sit there between 5 to 10 minutes just to make sure, don't nothing happen to you. So I left. I was feeling fine. So I was feeling a little tired. I went to sleep. I woke up. I was feeling sluggish. My arm was hurting, and it still is hurting, but I still went to work.
Okay.
And so I would take the second shot in another month. So I encourage you to get the vaccine.
Me?
Yes.
Or everybody else.
I encourage you and everybody else to get the vaccine. Shamika says she got her first dose.
Okay.
And her second dose on April 20th. I'm so proud of you.
Okay.
And she said just keep moving your arm and drink lots of water.
Hey, Vanessa.
Yes.
I see you in there, Vanessa. Owner of I Drive Business and Divine Perfection Body Care. You know what? Vanessa's going to be with us next week, y'all. Next week. Yeah, it's next week. She's going to be with us.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she's gonna be a guest co-host. She's not coming to talk about a body care. She coming to be sitting like where Andrea is, and we all gonna chop it up next week. And I'm not gonna tell y'all what it's gonna be, what it's gonna be about. But I guarantee y'all gonna love it. And
it's gonna
we
be
love
good.
Vanessa. She's such a sweet lady, man.
She really
her and her
is.
husband are so sweet, and we really enjoy having her on the show. I don't have nothing. Nothing that's going on that I can think of. I'm going to enjoy this weekend. I want to say happy Easter to everybody too. And don't forget, go to church. You know what I'm saying? Give God some time this weekend.
But don't you know when is the biggest holiday that everybody come to church? Everybody come to church on when? Easter and Mother's Day. That's when church is packed, right?
I thought it was Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day.
Okay. It's always like that. It's like, okay, you go on Easter, everybody and their mama at church with the big hats. Yes.
It's a dress show. And Pastor Trevor, I got out of suits a long time ago. I just be in jeans and polos. I don't even care like that anymore. I don't. I want to come like a regular.
You ain't gonna suit it up on Sunday?
No, man, no.
One time.
No, I ain't suiting it up or nothing. Listen, y'all, if you're late and you missed us, go back, listen to the episode. I enjoy hanging out with Andrea tonight while our co-host Chris McAllister is in church tonight.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, he had a church obligation, and so excuse me, I didn't mean to bump that mic, y'all. He's in a church. He has a fulfilling an obligation, but we do miss him. He'll be back with us next week along with Vanessa Woods White. Before I go, just want to say follow us at Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Just follow us at Next15. And also don't forget to follow my buddy Juan Alaman from the 80s Hour and the Wrestling Wayback podcast. He's right here on the Spreaker platform. Two great podcasts. And I want to give a shout out to Breeze Bonnets on Instagram too. She has some nice pretty bonnets that the ladies seem to love. And man, also cannot forget to plug my church. If this is where Pastor Chris will come in. If you're in Austin, Texas, ladies and gentlemen, please come to Life Changers Church Easter celebration on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. on live. And now the church doors are open. Bring your family, your friends, co-workers, and your masks at 15020 North I-35 Frontage Road here in the beautiful city of Austin, Texas. And don't forget to go to www.lifechangesaustin.com or catch the live service on Facebook at LCC Austin or on YouTube.
Oh my God, you sound just like him.
No, I don't have that deep voice like you do. Oh, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. You'll never get back these minutes. But listen, I really appreciate all of you. All of the country listeners that listen from Spain, Portugal, from Russia, United Emirates, Gail out there in Cleveland, Ohio, I believe.
Yes.
Everywhere. Dallas, Texas, DeSoto, Houston, St. Augustine. Hey, mama. Gotta say hi. Hi to my mama. I love you, mama. Everybody in the East Texas area, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in tonight. We're not going to hold you any longer. This is Trey North and Andrea Clark right here. We'll see you next Friday with Vanessa Woods White, our special guest, right here. Same place, same place, same place. It's the Next 15 podcast. That's right, with Trey North, Chris McAllister, Andrea, guest co-host, Vanessa Woods White on the Next 15 podcast next week, Friday, 7 p.m. See you later.